Hi, I'm Alan Robinson, and thanks for tuning in to 28 Ball UK. This little introduction is a follow-on from the 18 gauge TSS shell I was developing, and if you've seen the obviously the first video on that, there was a few other things I was winding up to see if I could tweak it. Well, I finally done the tweaking with the very thin paper tube that we have, obviously for the reasons so I can crimp it over and I don't have to do the reaming out with the reaming tool, and obviously putting in that thicker Mylar to see if there's any difference. So you know all the data on it because that's on the original video. So what we need to do is get back out onto the pattern plate and see if we get some results that are very favourable. So let's go and get these cartridges shot off. I am doing, I think, 6 just for the record. Just to inform you, but it'll be on the pattern videos. But I'm doing 2 20-gram loads, which is the original load, but with the stiffer Mylar, and then obviously I'm doing an 18-gram load with the thinner tubing, and then I'm going to do one with the, or 2 I should say, with the thicker tubing to see if there's a comparison to the original ones that I were doing to these thinner ones. So no further ado, let's get back out there and get these cartridges fired off and let's see what the results are. Here we are, doing these follow-on patterns with a new Mylar, the stiffer Mylar, just to see if there's any difference. This is the first cartridge, obviously 18-gram, 9 of 10s, 9 of 9s. This is the old 2mm wall thick tube with the new Mylar upgrade in it. Very good pattern. Comes out at 215 pellets, if this is in focus. As you can zoom in, I've got 46, 32, 69 and 68, which gives me a total of 215, and I've got a little group of 12 there, a little group of 7 there, 2 here, which gives me 21 outside the circle. I was a little bit high here, so I don't know whether I might have missed a few, but it's a very good consistent pattern. There seems to be more of a random kind of display of pellets there, but that's really good. So on with the next test shell, which is exactly the same, just to give me a 2 cartridge idea of what's being printed. Onto the next shell. This is the second one on this test run of the original 18-gram load that I did in the previous video with the 2mm wall thick tube, but this is the upgraded Mylar, and I'm really impressed. I know it's only 2 shells. I've got 68 in that quarter, 42, 70, 57, gives me a total of 237. And what seems to be really impressive, I've just got 6 here outside with a little group through here, which is giving me 11, which is 17 outside. That is quickly 254 pellets there, and I've lost 50, I think I lost about another 16 pellets. And I don't know if you can zoom in, but some of these holes are quite big, and I think the pellets are going through. I have counted some of them as 2s, but I think that you're looking at the entire pattern in that's a 30-inch circle, but I've got the entire pattern easy in a 45-inch circle, but we're not splitting hairs on that one. So onto the new ones now. Obviously I've developed the little thinner tube, so let's see how they come out on these next run. Okay, on to the next. The new cartridge, it's 18 gram. Like I said, I've upped the 9s to 12 gram, dropped the 10s to 6, so obviously that's 18. It's a thinner tube I showed you in the other video, which has just got the small 1mm wall thickness. It's got the thicker Mylar in it, like I showed you, and a very nice, even, well distributed pattern. I've got 35 there, 46 there, 73, 82, absolutely beautifully distributed in that 13 circle, giving me a total of 236. I've got 5 just here, 4 just there, and a few here, and obviously that's 8, so the total outside the ring is 17. So again, that is 53 pellets. And I don't know if I can zoom in, but if you look at that, if you can see it, there's 2, maybe 3 pellets in there. See the size of it? So I honestly think I'm getting the entire pattern of 270 pellets in that diameter. And obviously I've got another one to test, number 4, which is exactly like this one, and just see what this comes out, and I'm really pleased. So on with the next. Right, this is the second shell with the new 1mm wall thickness, 18 gram, 12 of 9s, 6 gram of 10s, and as you can see, very nicely distributed. 31 here, 38, and 80, 85, an absolute swarm of pellets there. I think in America, I think they'll call that a damn good turkey load. So if you lads over a pond, 18 gram load. Anyway, obviously all them add up to 234. I've got 7 just here, maybe I just missed a couple there, and a few just dotted around here, 9, 3 there, give or take, call it 20 onto there. That's 254 pellets, and some of these holes are quite big. I reckon again another 100% pattern in that area there, and that is an absolute really good pattern, as you can see. And I think I've got some consistency there with the thicker Mylar, and that 1mm wall thickness is throwing just as good patterns, and that might just save me a lot of reaming out on the 2mm wall thickness ones. So anyway, the next 2 shells are my original 20 gram load, done with the smaller 1mm wall thickness, and see how they come out at. To run through the data, we've got the 20 gram, which is my original cartridge, 6 gram of 10s, 14 gram of 9s, obviously through the 3/4 inch choke, 40 meters, but this is with the small wall thickness tubing and the Mylar, to see if I can get a better distribution. If you look at the original pattern, I've got 48, 39, 49, 67. A little bit gappy, but I am not splitting hairs at all with that. It gives me 203 pellets in there, obviously out of 285, I think it is. But if it is a but, as you can see in this quarter here, I've got 31 just outside. I've got 17 in this quarter just outside. I've got 9 coming round there, and I've got 11 here, which gives me 68 pellets outside of the circle. Add that to that, I reckon you're looking at the entire pattern on there, because I don't think they fly that far. Obviously some of the holes are big, you know, so there's more than one pellet gone through. I'm going to shoot the last shell in this batch of 6, see what this last 20 gram load comes out, and I'll give you a little bit of my thoughts as I'm here looking at the pattern plate, and we'll go from there. I've kneeled down with this one. I was just shot a bit low. Unfortunately, where I've set my pattern plate up, the sun's shining right down the shooting line, so I was a bit blinded by the sun. Anyway, the last one of the 20 gram load, as you know, the pellet ratio with the new thinner paper tube. I've got 49, 65, 60, 70, an absolute beautifully distributed pattern, as compared to the first one in that batch, which gives me 247 in that. I've got 5 pellets here in that quarter just outside. I've got 4 just outside there, 9 and 8 gives me 26 outside the circle, which is getting again up to the entire pattern there. As I was saying, to conclude out of this little experiment, I think the thinner tubing is working. I'm not getting pellets held in one corner. I think they're being distributed really well, which I think is a big plus. So I think that's going to save me a tremendous amount of time having not to ream out the thicker tubes. And I think you probably will notice, obviously just sitting and talking to this one, which obviously I'll have a chat, get back to the den, to the office, that I get more consistency out of the smaller load. You know, whereas that's a good one. I know I've only shot 2 cartridges and I am hoping on I should probably do a third one, but I didn't. I think I've shot enough tungsten, etc. So I'll have another chat back in the den and in the man cave and let you come to some conclusions and see what you think. Okay, back to the office. Well, that's been brilliant. I'm really pleased with the results that them 6 cartridges produced. To give you, well, I suppose really you can see really what I talked about with each individual pattern, but to break it down and probably to sum up in a few words, I think the thinner tubes worked really well, and I think that stiffer Mylar has sort of stopped that crushing, like I was explaining in the original video, that it's not creating that kind of ring, and obviously you're going to get them few pellets around the outside, but I think out of all 6 cartridges, they were pretty good. Looking at the 18 gram compared to the 20 gram, I think TSS likes to be what's the word? Less pellets, I think. I seem to get more bleeding out of the 20 gram, considering how many pellets are in there. I seem to get that little bit more dispersion round the side, so I'm more down to that 75-ish, maybe 80% pattern, whereas the the 18 gram ones are right up there, I think, in that 90 bracket. I think it's but to go forward, I am definitely going to be loading the 18 gram load, and with the thinner tube, and one other thing, I've obviously had living here as I'm going on, which it states on the patterns, as you would have seen, that I did do what I said I was going to do. I tweaked the loading, so instead of an equal 9 gram of each of the pellets, I went down to 6 gram of 10s and 12 gram of 9s, and I thought that was a nice pattern. And if I do get back to the the pattern plate, I could shoot a few off, going more 7 gram of 10s and 11 gram of 9s, but I think I'm there or thereabouts, and I'm really pleased. I really am pleased. I don't think I'll be doing the 20 gram. I think because of the tightness of the pattern, I think even on some of the higher birds, I think them 18 grams are going to reach. I really do. To conclude, at the end of the pattern testing, I did a run of some lead cartridges. And the reason behind that, before I got addicted to the TSS, obviously I use lead, and it took me a bit to get the right cartridge that I wanted. I thought, and due to the cost of tungsten, contemplating was actually going back to lead for these next 3 years until unfortunately we can't use lead anymore. Save all my tungsten that I've got stockpiled, which I think, give or take, I think I've got 4 years worth for the amount of cartridges that I shoot. By lowering that now down to 18 gram, that might put another year on, and hope that maybe if China get back to exporting, etc., etc., and the price sort of levels a bit, maybe it might be viable to start buying it back in. To give you a bit of bad news, sad news, or whatever you want to call it, I was buying the tungsten an average, because I did buy quite a lot in this last 18 months. I think they all averaged out about $80 a kilo. I got an email through just at the beginning of the new year. The supplier came back at me and said, I hope you're sitting down, Alan, because to buy that same product is going to cost me $175 a kilo. So it's absolutely, is that doubled, give or take? So it's pricing it out. It's just for the product alone, if I was buying it at that price, would make the cartridge £2.50. Then obviously you got all your components on, so it's making a £3 cartridge, whereas at the moment half that, £1.50, so it's doable. So fingers crossed that the price does level out, come back down. Personally, I can't see it. I think, without being a bit political, I think what's going on in the world and some muscle flexing from some countries, I think it's just a bit like that. Anyway, keep on the happy side. It's New Year and things are going forward. So to leave you with another project that I might be concluding, or might be considering, not considering, is seeing if I can develop a lead cartridge for this next 3 years. And as you can see with the patterns that I've done, and you compare it with the TSS, it's a no-brainer, is it? You know, I think an average pattern I was getting out of the sort of fiber cartridge, which was the more consistent. I think I was averaging 65 pellets, 70 pellets into the entire 30-inch circle. As you can see on one of the lead cartridges, to try and protect the lead and to hope make a better pattern, I actually loaded a few with that paper tube. One of them was okay. I think it was the first one, which was really top left as you look at it. It was okay, but I couldn't understand why it was over there, because I don't remember pulling the gun out. I was bang on centre, and as I fired, so that was sort of telling me whether that was the flight of the tubing. And as you can see on the second one, the pellets must have embedded into the tube, and as you can see, that lovely, perfect little neat hole down there, obviously, and the pattern was just non-existent. It was appalling. Yes, maybe I might be looking at maybe putting Mylar in it to stop that embedment. I don't know whether the pressures that are generated out of my gun just distorts the pattern, and that's why I keep stressing you need to pattern your gun, because my gun absolute shoots TSS beautifully. Put a lead cartridge in and look where it is. Admittedly, that's my home loads. I haven't really gone to the trouble of buying a few, but maybe I should. Maybe that might be a cheaper option, to go back to lead and do that and see what they are like. Some shot bolt cartridges. If I can get my hands on some nice nickel plated number 5s and see if they're very nice and round and uniformed, I might dig in over this next year and see if I can develop a lead cartridge. If the drive looks like the birds are going to be nice birds, I could use the lead on that particular drive. If I know it's going to be a really high peg, well, I'll probably just use a TSS, but really try and focus and pick my shots. That's if I can develop this lead cartridge. Anyway, I hope you like that bit of a conclusion. That's what's going to happen for 2026-27 season. It's going to be an 18 gram load, probably tweaking between the original 9 gram of 10s, 9 gram of 9s. I might even go to, I might even just do a section of all of them down to 6 gram and then tweak them. But I personally think with the consistency between the 18 grams on the original test and these have been brilliant. I'm really happy, and I think I've got a very good pattern there that's up in the yeah, I'm going to say up in the 90s, and then it's all down to shooting straight. So I'll take this opportunity to wish you all happy New Year, and I hope you have what's left of the season some good shooting. Thank you very much. Just for the record, this is a lead 21 gram. I'm going 5.5. The pellets, when I weigh them out, I'm getting 185 pellets. So I think the nearest 6s than 5s, but I'm calling them 5.5s. I shot at point of aim. Somehow the pattern's over here. I am using a tube, thinking that if I got a tube in like a plastic cup, it would hold a better pattern. This is a better pattern, top left, 25-16, 23-29, so I've got 93 in there, and to be quite honest, that is a 50% because it's, yeah, 50% because that's double that in it. Here, as you can see, I've just drawn a big circle around there, and there's obviously quite a few pellets here, but the pellets are all over the place. Yeah, so I'm going to do a same shell but without the tube, so basically it's just an open cartridge. Obviously the pellets are just sitting on top of the cork, and see how they pattern. Okay, this is the second lead cartridge, which is just basically a fibre wad, I'd call it, just the pellets sitting on top of the packing. Straight into the pattern, very open. This is being fired obviously through my 3/4 chalk. 20 pellets here, 10 pellets there, 16, 18, which gives me a total of 64 in that circle. And you can see all these flyers right down here, all the way around here, and how this pattern opens up. I'll be very honest, the pellets I'm using are a summer batch I got, which are copper plated, and they do look a random selection. So this is another project in the making, and you might be asking yourself, why am I doing lead? Well, the cost of tungsten has gone through the roof, and I'm actually thinking of going back to shooting lead and when you can't shoot lead, I've got my tungsten to shoot. So but when you look at that pattern at just 40 meters, what chance have you at anything 45, 50? You haven't a cat in hell. And I think this is why you get all these wingtip birds, you know, and these pellets flying all over the place. Well, I'm going to do another 2 shells if my battery lasts, another lined one and another unlined, you know, just a normal fibre cartridge like this one. And if they come out consistently the same, I'm not going to fire anymore, and until I get what I call consistent looking pellets, if I can get my hands on some, maybe some nickel plated or something, and do the test again. Obviously the season's coming to an end. I don't think I'll be using lead because I can't develop a shell in the short pace of time, because I'm not going to fire them. I think it's a waste of time. Yeah. Anyway, on to the last 2 shells. Right, this is the next lined lead tube. I haven't even bothered putting a circle on this because the pattern's failed completely. Massive gap here, a few pellets up here and a few pellets down here. If you look here, see this big punch hole? That was me wadding punched a hole straight through. So that was telling me, because even with lead and with my paper tube, the pellets have embedded in the cardboard or in the paper, and created the paper tube as a projectile, and it's gone straight through there at 40 meters, literally cut a hole straight through. I'll just nip round to the back to show you the exit point, if that's in focus. Beautiful clean cut. I was seeing if I could find where it went, but I think the speed it were going, I think it's buried itself in the ground somewhere. But anyway, back to the front. As you can see, even if you're buying shot bolt cartridges, that's why it's so important you pattern your gun to the shell, and once you get consistency, you know that your gun's married to the correct cartridge, and then it's down to you to make sure you point it in the right direction. But if you don't do this, you could be blazing away and you might have an absolute awful pattern. Your gun might be blowing it. So I'm going to go back to just a normal fibre wadded cartridge. I might even fire another tube one just to see if I get the consistency in that hole. On to the next. This is the fibre one, as you call it, just the pellet sitting on top of me cork packer. Consistently compared to the other one unlined, or the fibre one, I think the other one was 64, that's 67, but you can see the spacing, the gapping, and obviously a hell of a distribution of pellets all the way down here, all the way around here. So yeah, go all over the place. I must admit, my gun 3/4 doesn't like plasy wads when you could use them. I was hoping that maybe the paper cup might just help, the paper tube. Seem to be getting a little bit more consistency with the just the normal fibre version. But it's going to be a working project, this, to see if I can get some nice shaped number 5 shot, and load some of them probably through the summer, and see if I can get a consistency on my lead, just to save on the tungsten. This is another tubed line cartridge, and you can really see the inconsistency. You would think that this is not a bad pattern, but everything's in this quarter. I'm not bothered counting it because I'm miles away getting a decent shell just by physically looking at it. There's some pellets sticking very close together. I think the shape of the pellets are very not uniform. It's not a eureka moment on the lead anyway. To what I get some half decent pellets, because I think these, like I said, are sixes, more sixes than fives, and I want a 5.